Hey there, it's Lenny McGill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop here in San Diego, California. Today I want to talk about the G43X and the G48 and some of the extended controls that we have available for these guns. Now, the 43X and the 48 are basically brand new here in 2019. It's coming on the tail of the 43, which is a huge success for Glock. We've sold a ton of them. It's a great carry gun, super small, super thin, lightweight. I mean, it's been a huge success. But people wanted something similar, but with a bigger grip. You know, we've got a lot of accessories for the 43 that allow you to get a bigger grip, longer grip. But what they found is that, you know, they wanted something more to hold on to. So Glock came up with the 43X and the 48, which are phenomenal in many ways because what they did, not only did they lengthen the grip, but they made the grip a little bit fatter, which really gives you something to hold on to. I mean, it is amazing. So it's a 10-round magazine capacity. Got the orange followers now. The grip, like I said, is a little bit wider. So what's very interesting is that many of the parts inside, as well as the slide itself on the 43X, are the same in dimension and fit and function as the parts on the 43. So all of our extended controls work except for the magazine button because the frame is a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. So the 43X and the 48 share the same frame, a lot of the same parts as the 43. However, the 43X is a standard upper, which is the same upper that will fit on a 43. So the 43 upper goes in here, the 43 barrel goes in here, all that stuff. The 48, of course, is a longer slide with a longer barrel. So it's a little more mass. And the report on this is that people really like shooting this because there's a little less recoil because of the heavier slide. Less felt recoil in your hand, which I find very interesting. Because this gun is like the carry gun. It's significantly lighter. I mean, you can feel the difference weight-wise. So if you're looking for a carry gun and you don't want to carry that longer slide, boom, go here. This is it. This is perfect. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the extended controls. First and foremost, this gun is unloaded, okay? I've got brand new guns here. All three are brand new. Of course, you know that the 43 and the 48 come in silver from the factory. We've had such demand for these, and a lot of our law enforcement customers want to carry it in black because it's required by their agency. So hence, we do offer a black version of both the 43X and the 48. They're on our website. And I think we're one of the only people in the country offering the black versions. So check it out if you're looking for black. That said, this gun is unloaded. We talked about that. The magazine is unloaded. There's no ammunition here on the table. I'm going to go ahead and double check into the slide in the chamber to make sure it's unloaded. No rounds inside. And again, and now pull the trigger in a safe direction. I know I've got an unloaded gun and I feel comfortable being able to work on it. And I feel that you should do the same thing. Every time you're working on your guns, make sure that the gun is unloaded. Make sure there are no ammunition boxes around, there's no loaded magazines around, and there's no stray ammunition floating around in your workspace. Most of us are going to do this work at home or in the garage. It's a good idea to separate the ammunition from your workbench because it's just too easy to load and have an accidental discharge. Rule number one, always keep the gun pointing in a safe direction, loaded or not. That's the key. Loaded or not, it's pointing in a safe direction. Doesn't matter. It's always pointing at safe. Never pointed at anybody or anything you don't want to shoot. Or you don't mind, you know, if you put a bullet through it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Okay, so there we have it. So there's your 43X and your 48. Very similar. The frames are similar, exactly. Just this is a longer slide. All the parts are similar, as in the 43, except the 48X, excuse me, the 48 has the longer barrel and the longer slide, and everything else is the same except for the magazine button, and the magazines themselves are different. Because this is a 10-round magazine, it's a little thicker, and they got 10 rounds into this package, and that's a little different. But everything else is the same. And what I want to show you right now is some of the extended controls we offer that are also available with the 43. They're going to fit on the 43X and the 48. first thing we already did a video, and it's a separate piece, is the extended slide lock, which is also known as the takedown lever. I've got it installed here because I just did that video, and I'm going to do this second one now on the extended slide stop, which is also known as the slide release. Okay, it locks the gun back after the last shot. So when you shoot, bang, 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 and the magazine is empty, it locks the gun back, just like that. To engage again, load a magazine using your thumb, push down on the slide stop lever to reload the chamber, and you're ready to shoot again. That said, this button is very small. Some people, most people, don't like it because it's so darn small and hard to manipulate. The other way you would use this button would be to lock the gun back in a safety check. And in order to do that with this, I'm going to reorientate my grip and put my thumb on top of this, pull the slide back, and push up. Put the gun down, hand it to someone. We know the gun's unloaded because we locked it back. It's difficult to do that with this button without readjusting your grip because it's just hard to get on top of that button. But that's how you do it. So you really want to make sure you keep the gun pointing in a safe direction, usually down, pull the slide back and push it up, just like that in one motion. And that's an unloaded gun. And that's a good way to hand a gun to someone because they now know that there's no magazine, there's no bullets, that's good. Now I can go ahead and manipulate, play with it, test it, do all the things I want to do. When I hand it back to you, I hand it back same way, unloaded, right? And rightfully so, visibly so, I guess is the word. So this slide release, or slide stop as it's properly called, is a very important control for safety and for manipulation of the gun, especially when shooting. Because if you want to go ahead and load again, it's a lot easier to do that with a better button. Now I can do it, it's no problem really, but I will show you it's a lot easier with the bigger button because we have an extended version of that. And so there's a difference. Let me put it up here. So it just gives you a little bit more to hold on to. All right. That little extra tab right there makes it so much easier to manipulate. So now let's go ahead and go through the process. We're going to make sure the gun's in the fired position. It's unloaded, right? No ammunition around. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble the gun. That's the same process as with the any other gun, any other Glock, should I say. I'm going to keep my hand in the shooting grip. I'm going to rotate my hand now up over the slide and pull the slide back just a little bit, just to disengage it from battery. So now I take some spring pressure off of the slide lock, and I'm going to pull the slide lock down on both sides, hold it down, and let it go forward, and off comes the entire slide. And that is the disassembly procedure. Cleaning, maintenance, all that other stuff. I'm going to put the upper away, and I'm going to work now on this slide stop. Okay, you'll notice it has some spring pressure. You're also going to notice how it has a little button right here and how that intersects with the follower of the magazine. So let me show you. When you exhaust all the rounds in the magazine or shoot all the rounds in the magazine, it locks the slide back and pushes by pushing the slide stop up. So you can see it in the upward position right now. It is pushed up by the spring in the follower. So you see how the spring in the magazine pushes up on the follower, and that's what locks it back. So there's a little ledge right there on the follower that intersects with that and pushes that button up, which locks the slide back. So that said, we'll drop that magazine out of there. We're going to take this apart and we're going to install the extended slide stop into this 43X. Same procedure for the 48, by the way. Exactly. Frames are the same. So in order to do that, I've got to take out the trigger pin. Now the trigger pin is captured in the frame by the slide lock. Excuse me, slide stop. The slide stop, what's interesting about the slide stop, it has a spring on it, and the spring pressure on the slide stop pushes it up. And so because it pushes it up, it actually locks itself into the notch on the trigger pin. So this is, if this were the trigger pin, and I'll show it to you when we take it out, you put this slide lock in, I got it backwards like so, and it actually then, because of the spring pressure, it presses it up and it captures itself into the notch. Now that does two things. One, it prevents the pin from vibrating out, but two, it captures the slide stop as well, and it has a place, it has a home. So it knows where it's supposed to be, and it goes, so it doesn't migrate itself around a little bit. So that notch is very important, and the concept of the notch is very important. So what we're going to do now to take this out, we have to reduce the spring pressure on that notch. And to do so, I'm going to take a punch, and let's see if I can find the right one. Here we go. I'll grab this guy here. I'll grab this one here, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to press down on the slide stop, okay? And that's going to allow me to take some of that pressure off of that spring, which is going to allow me to push that punch out a lot easier. So I got to find out where that magic spot is there. I believe that's it right there. And I'm going to press this guy down, and that's going to allow me to have less spring pressure. And I think I'll use a little bigger punch there because it will get me easier. Okay, there it is right there. So now I will find that like so. Watch this. Now here's how this goes. So I'm going to put this right on top of the piece here like that, and I'm pressing it down just to take some of that pressure off of the notch. And then that will allow me to push this pin out very easily. Sometimes it's easy if you get it right. If you get it right, it goes really simply. Let's see here. Gonna make sure I'm doing it right. Here we go. I think I got it right there. Okay, let's see if I can get this all working here. There we go. So I got it right in the sweet spot, and the pin just comes straight out. And I will show you what this looks like. There's the notch we're talking about right there. Okay, and here's what's happening is this is going in and pressing up on the notch, and once it presses up, it doesn't want to come out. But if I press down just a little bit and center that hole up, then it comes out. And you'll see it's a pretty tight fit, which is good. But it does get captured on that notch, and then I just press it down, and it's not hard. It's really fairly easy. You just have to figure out where you're pressing. So, like I said, I'm taking that punch, I'm putting it right on top of this thing as it sits in the gun, and I'm pressing it down just to remove that pressure. So that said, now it's easy, right? Okay, so we got the pin out. That was the hard part. I'm going to take the locking block out real quick just to get it out of the way, and then it's going to fall into my little donut hole here, my armorer's bench. This is just a piece of duct tape, obviously, that blue painter's tape that is soft. And I'm going to lift the slide stop right out. Okay, and there it goes. Now, this is the extended version, and it just slides straight into that same hole. And you'll get the holes lined up, and you'll see how they intersect. Now, every once in a while, you'll have to keep it so that you have to put your hand on it so it doesn't migrate around, but it looks like it's all lined up right now. So the holes look good, so I'm going to just keep my thumb on it, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the locking block and put it back in, because it's just that easy. I mean, and then I'm going to look inside there, and I can see that my holes aren't quite lined up now, but I will push down with my finger, go in there with a punch if I want, and kind of straighten everything up and get it all lined up, and then looks like it's good. So now let me get the pin going here, and I think I'm just going to press down on the locking block or the slide stop just a little bit just to get it lined up. Yeah, something's not right there. There we go. Now, when you run into a little thing like that where it doesn't seem to want to go, I bet you we don't have it lined up properly. So I'm just going to manipulate my slide stop a little bit and press it in and down, and it should work, and it did. Okay, now what's really cool about this particular gun, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, is I've got the pin kind of set up here, and it's almost flush on this side. I'll make it flush up. But you'll notice on the other side, it hasn't quite got to where it should be flush. So there's the one side, the left side, there's the right side when the gun's facing down. So what's happened is the pin's stopped there, and if I push it in just a little bit more, you'll hear a click, and that typically means that the hole is intersecting with a notch. Let's see if that happens. Yes, it did. Do you hear the click? So just a little bit more on the pin, and you can hear it click, and you'll notice now that the pin looks like it's centered up a little bit more, the same depth on both sides. Now, it looks like that's working. I've got the spring pressure, it wants to force itself down. So good. I'll put my magazine in, it springs up. It's intersecting well. Magazine spits out, that's good. So now, the easy part is to put the slide back on. I've got all the pieces in there. I've replaced the factory slide stop with the extended slide stop. And let's get this lined up properly. Here we go. All right, here we go, come on. All right. Voila. Now, much better, much easier to manipulate, a larger button. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, see now you have this little ledge to work on. So it does two things. One, it's going to lock back by itself when you shoot your last shot, locks back, makes a nice contact. You've got a bigger thumb rest to let it go down, much easier to manipulate. The other thing that I find is that when you are done shooting and you want to hand the gun to someone, you don't have to readjust your grip. You can just swipe up with your thumb now and just do it like up, because now you have something more to grab hold of. So I really like the extended slide stop because it allows you to manipulate the gun better. And by being able to manipulate the gun better, you're a better operator. By being a better operator, you're safer. Okay, that's really what it comes down to. And of course, you'll be able to shoot faster and more accurately and all those other things. But the key is to operate the gun and understand that the extended controls allow you to operate the gun better. Just that quick and that easy. So that is our extended slide stop. It's available in many different colors. We've got gold, blue, red, chrome, silver, OD green, all kinds of fun stuff to allow you to match up to the other colors of your other extended controls. And these items are relatively inexpensive and just fantastic items to have because they do make it better, safer, faster. I'm Lenny McGill. This, of course, is the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop right here in San Diego and soon to be Nashville, Tennessee. So when we're out there, I want you to come out and visit us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.